Hello and welcome to India Career Center, the one-stop podcast for students, professionals, parents and guardians. In every episode, we will try to deal with a current topic that needs expert advice related to career guidance and career mentoring. Please welcome your host Dr. S.B. Mishra to the show and happy listening.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode on India Career Center. Today, we have got a guest from Pune, Priya Kailad. She's the founder of Karma Foundation. Karma Foundation started in 2018 in a very, very small, humble way. Now it has grown up into a full-fledged hospital for animal and pets. Through this conversation, basically, I wanted our young children and young people to learn about this particular topic. Today, I think we will also learn about how a NGO operates, because Priya has started that journey from scratch and brought to this level today. Priya, welcome to this show. During this conversation, we will learn about a lot of topics which I'm completely unaware. So everything you're going to talk about will be learning for me, and hopefully through this conversation, a lot of young children will get to know about your subject a bit. And hopefully you can inspire a lot of young children going forward to do something which you're doing, or inspire them to do something which is complementing to what you're doing already. So welcome to the show, Priya.
Thank you for having me.
Just want you to talk about your early life, early career, early childhood, and where you have studied and things like that, just to get a perspective about how the future has panned out for you. So over to you.
So, I come from a South Indian family, and I've been in Pune all my life. I did my schooling from St. Joseph's in Pashan. I completed my junior college from Symbiosis. I also completed my graduation from Symbiosis. I completed a liberal arts course also from Symbiosis.
Fantastic.
And I've also completed my post-graduation in child psychology.
Okay.
I was working in a school for specially able children as a therapist for a few years. And my childhood has been just as fun and as simple as possible. And I've had parents who have been very supportive, especially my mother. She's been very supportive from a young age. She would, teach me to be kind to animals. You see a stray dog, then she would buy me 5 rupees ka biscuit and say, feed the dog. You should be nice. There's a bird that comes, keep some water. Then there used to be a cat who used to keep coming outside our house and break the milk packets. And my father used to get very angry that, this cat is coming every day and breaking the milk packets and it's not good. And there used to be that whole thing at home when I was a child that, this cat is coming and it's not good and all of that. And then my mother just asked me one day, she said, so now what is the solution to this? This cat is coming every day. And I was a young child. So she said, there's this cat who's coming every day and he's breaking the milk packets, and dad is getting very angry about it. So what do you think we should do?
Okay.
So I told her, cat is coming and breaking the milk packets because, she is hungry. So we will leave some milk for her so she won't break the packets.
Makes sense.
Then my mother and I, we started doing that. So basically my early influence, early life influence towards animals in general has been my mother. And she has throughout been very, very, very supportive of all of this.
Fantastic. And so your early, if I look at your early education, the complete education, the higher education was in a completely different field. You said you did liberal arts, you did child psychology and things like that, and you worked in a school for special needs children. So at what point things really got triggered to get into the NGO route? Because as I understand, as an NGO, you are associated with a movement, not for money really, but you are associated with a movement for the purpose or the for a very specific purpose with the emotion which is attached to it.
So I have see there are two things, two factors rather to this. One is psychology has always interested me as a subject. I've always been interested in it. I've been interested in people, how they think, why are they doing certain things, why are they behaving a certain way. So that has been an interest that I've had. But I knew for a fact that even growing up, when I was in school, when I was in college, I just knew that animals were my calling. There's a huge difference between being interested in something and knowing that you are just born to do this. And this is where you should be. So, animals, helping them and everything and anything to do with animals is it's just been me.
So
So
at some point of time, you never really thought about taking up, let's say, veterinary science, for example, and be a professional in that?
no, honestly, I wasn't very good at studies.
Okay.
I was a I was an average student, and I was really bad at studying in school. I never got good grades. I never scored very good marks. I would get scolded all the time. So I wasn't interested in pursuing that as my education.
Okay.
But yes, I did fare well in psychology throughout. Like I got first class distinction, so I was good with that. But with respect to pursuing veterinary medicine, no, I don't think so.
Okay. So, I mean, you excelled in psychology, which means that you were good at studies. So we cannot
I was good
generalize.
at studies, but I was really bad at math and science, which is
Oh,
needed
okay.
for veterinary.
Yeah, but then finally you could arrive at your destination through whatever way, but you took that plunge based on your inner calling, if I can
Yes.
call it that
Yes.
way. Chronologically, if we think about it, you said you started the NGO in 2018. So before that, you were working in the school as a specialist. What events or what chain of events actually triggered this movement?
So I was working in a school. Even just before karma happened, I was still working. I had a job, and it was getting very monotonous also. And honestly speaking, with respect to mental health awareness, it's increasing in India now, but it's not where it should be.
Mhm.
So there were a lot of challenges I was facing at work with the children and the parents, and all of that. So one fine day, I was just talking to my mother-in-law, and I was very frustrated with work, and I was home and all of that, and she just said, you know, why don't you just quit your job and do this? You want to do this? Why don't you? You're running around with animals here and there in your free time. After your job, you find a kitten on the road, you're picking it up, taking it to a doctor, you're going to another NGO, you're just running around, you're all over the place. She said you need to structure your mind a little bit and follow your heart. So she said, just leave all this. You are interested in it, but your heart resides and lives there. Where is your heart at? So she's the one who pushed me, and she and my husband, in fact, they both are like, just go for it. Start your own thing, start small, but you have to pursue your dream, and that is your vision, and that is where you're going to find your true happiness. So that is how it was just a decision like that was made. At that point, I thought it was a very impulsive decision that I took, but I knew that I had them as a very strong support for this decision. Whatever happens, we'll see. It was that kind of a thing. And my mother-in-law said, just go for it. Jo hoga dekhenge, just go for it. Start your own thing.
Okay. So two mothers influenced you. One,
Yes.
your own mother, then the mother-in-law.
Yes. Both the mothers influenced me.
That's very good, actually. So, which means that if mothers at home are well educated and they are able to inculcate the good values on children, I think the society would be far better and far
Yes.
more constructive. Yeah, now coming to the NGO itself. So tell us about Karma, what exactly, how you started and how the journey has been, and how did you cope up with the COVID times? I know those were difficult times for everyone. I'm sure you'd also gone through a challenging time yourself. So take us through those journey. Actually.
So Karma started off in 2018 in a small 200 square foot room. So my husband, like I said, has been my backbone throughout. So when this whole decision was made of me quitting my job and just doing something, I was very lost. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. I just didn't know anything other than the fact that I have a strong force of people behind me who are backing me up, who are supporting me. And I start basically my husband's office. He emptied a small room for me, and he said, you start here because you don't have to pay the rent. You know what you're getting into. Do it as a trial. See if you're able to do it. So this is before 2018 I'm talking about. And I bought a couple of small cages, and then I would take care of injured cats. Then I started kind of studying things around and just gauging the whole situation of animal welfare in the city in general. And I realized no one's doing cat sterilizations. Everyone's running after dogs. Then I set up a small space. In that small space, I set up a smaller space for sterilization of cats, and tied up with an NGO, another NGO who was already there at that time, who was doing dog sterilizations. And then I spoke to them and said, okay, I have this space and I want to start cats because no one is doing cats. So can you, send your team and help me sterilize these cats? So I started off by picking up cats from my society, sterilizing them with the help of this NGO and all of that. And then slowly I realized that with a small space of 200 square feet, I realized, okay, these are my challenges that I'm facing here. Now, if I want to make it bigger and go beyond the 200 square feet, what are the issues I'm going to face and what is the amount of money that I need for it? So it started off there, and slowly we started expanding, and now we have a full-fledged hospital, a charitable hospital, which is 14,000 square feet. And if you visited a place, any charitable human hospital in your city or anywhere for that matter, they have a charity unit also, they have a private unit also, any charitable hospital for humans I'm talking about. So similarly, I set up a charitable hospital for animals. And as per me, it's a state-of-the-art facility. We've got an operation theater which is fully equipped. We've got a diagnostics room which has an X-ray. It has a sonography. It has a microscope. It has a X-ray reader. It's got and we have separate wards for different diseases like you have in human hospitals. Similarly, I've set up wards for animals as well, infectious cases, non-infectious cases, fractures, diseases like accidents, then critical care. So we also have an ICU setup, all of that. So we've set that up. Plus we have an in-house pharmacy. We have an admin. We have a separate ward for sterilizing, like the ABC ward, animal birth control ward for cats. So we've set up all of that, and we also have a staff room. So our handling staff lives in the hospital itself. Our doctors don't live there, but our handling, the lower staff lives in the hospital premises itself. So we've set up like it's exactly how a human hospital is, but it's for animals. So basically, the one of the main it was a dog herself who made me feel that there has to be a medical setup which is located in the heart of the city. So there was this dog called Julie. Again, when I was figuring out how to go about it in my husband's office in that 200 square feet space, in his office building itself, there was this dog called Julie, and she had delivered 6 puppies. There was one more dog called Kali who had delivered 6 puppies. They both delivered around the same time. So there were 12 puppies and 2 mothers. And they had all delivered, they had both delivered the puppies in the building itself. So Kali passed away because of a snake bite.
Okay.
So her puppies were, orphaned. So Julie was one of a kind. She was just a very special dog. She was one of a kind. So she adopted those 6 puppies as her own. So she now was taking care of 12 puppies, 6 of her own babies and 6 babies of the other mother who passed away. And it was very painful to watch her, very frail, very weak. She was exhausted all the time because she was feeding 12 puppies. And she was not, she was in a terrible condition. So I knew that Julie required help. Then slowly the puppies also started passing away one by one. So when Julie started looking really sick, I told my husband, I said, she's not looking good and we need to take her to the doctor or something, and we need to, get all the babies also checked, whether we need to deworm them, if anyone's really sick, what is wrong with the babies. We need to put all of them in the car and take them. So he said, okay, but we need to look for some facility who's going to help them, and how are we going to finance 13 dogs. So then we thought, okay, we'll approach an NGO to help us out. So then I realized that all these NGOs are so far away. They're all located in the outskirts of the city, and it becomes difficult. If I have to, as an individual, if I have to transport 13 dogs to a place which is say 20 kilometers from where I am, it does become a challenge, especially if I'm someone who doesn't have a car, who doesn't have transport. How am I going to take them? At that time, we were in the phase of registering our own NGO and figuring things out as to where we want to be placed, what is it that we're going to be providing, what services do we want to offer, all of that. And that's when I told my husband, I said, listen, we can't have it in the outskirts of the city, even though the land is cheaper, everything is cheaper. We can't, because as a citizen, if I am facing this issue, there are so many citizens who are going to face that issue.
Yeah.
And if it is a critical case, if it is an accident case, by the time that dog who meets with an accident reaches 20 kilometers away, it's probably not going to survive.
Understood.
So I told him, we need to find a place that is located centrally, which is easily accessible for the animal, for the people. So that's how we just dropped the idea of being located in the outskirts of the city. And Julie was one of the main reasons why Karma is located in the, is centrally located. So
Okay.
Julie is always going to be a piece of our heart.
Fantastic. In 4 years' time, if you have grown from 200 square feet to 14,000 plus square feet, obviously a lot of money has been invested. So how that journey has been, and tell us about what are the challenges you face and how you're handling them now. What are the main issues you face?
So initially, of course, we have put in a lot of our own personal savings into Karma. We still do a lot of times, but we are fortunate to have supporters and well-wishers who are always there with us, have been a part of our journey, have not left our side. And during COVID, it was rather very difficult. It still is difficult and challenging because COVID just got over and is not over also.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
still going on.
Yes.
So those 2 years were really bad because a lot of the companies, a lot of government funds, a lot of personal donations that people were making were all towards COVID relief. And COVID was the time where they needed the maximum support because during the curfew, everyone was at home. No one was leaving the house. So the animals were hungry. They were not getting food on the road. That is the time we had our food and nutrition partner, Royal Canine. That is the time we spoke to them and they were kind enough to sponsor food during the curfew. So Karma did the biggest feeding drive in India
Oh, fantastic.
for stray animals. We distributed around 5 to 8 lakh meals for the strays, although it's less because the number of animals are much more. And we worked throughout the curfew, we worked throughout the lockdown, we didn't take one day off. In fact, the workload during COVID was much more because the roads were empty. And since the roads were empty, 1 or 2 people who would be on the road would be speeding. So
Yeah,
the
I know.
number of accidents were very high. The number of deaths were very high for stray animals. So we were having a huge caseload, especially during the curfew and during the lockdown, which is the irony, but that's what happened.
Okay.
So funding wise, it's very tough. It's very difficult. We are constantly in need of funds, and we keep approaching various corporates, various brands, various companies to help us out under the CSR program.
Okay.
But I mean, a lot of it is directed towards human welfare, not so much towards animal welfare. So we are hoping that there are companies who are willing to help us with funding,
Okay.
because the expenses are really high. Running a hospital doesn't come cheap, and veterinary is very expensive.
Okay. And are you able to also get some funds from outside India as well?
Outside India, we've applied for our FCRA, which we need the permission to receive foreign funding. So we've already applied for it. We are waiting for an approval. Although we have our ATG in place.
Okay.
So
So once that is sorted, you can start getting funding.
Yes, then we can start accepting foreign funds.
In fact, individuals who are outside India, they could also send a few dollars.
Yes.
So that could be very useful for you.
Yes, very useful.
What I have understood is that your early life was influenced by your mother, by the animals, and then later part you had influences from your mother-in-law. Your husband has been great help. So as young people who might be looking at this conversation or will be listening to our podcast, and also the parents, what a young Priya would have done differently if she knew that she was to get into this line?
I don't think I would have. I've been fortunate to have parents, in-laws, and husband who've been the way they are. And the young me, just fortunately, I was lucky to just have everything perfect with respect to this. But yes, I would have concentrated more on studies and maybe done well with math and science, so I could actually pursue veterinary medicine. So that is one thing I would have done differently, is concentrate on studies. But otherwise, everything, I am very happy with the way things are for me today.
And yeah, and possibly one thing which comes out very clearly is that as parents and young children, I think we have to go for what we are good at, actually, rather than doing something which is required as per the society or the norms, I would say. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So probably young people who are watching you. The other thing which I would like to ask you is, since you have a full-fledged office, hospital right now, with both the parts, the charitable part as well as the commercial unit. If any young children who are looking at veterinary as their career path for future, and they want to intern with you, with your hospital for a few days, will that be possible? And what are the different things which we have to understand about it?
So we do have internship programs for veterinary students, but since they've not received a degree yet, they're still studying. They're students, veterinary students. I'm specifically talking about veterinary students. So we do have internship programs for veterinary students where they can shadow our doctors. They can understand how we as a hospital are going about treating a particular patient a certain way. What are the steps we follow? How do we go about it? Because the way we function is very, very different um, from what another doctor would do or another organization would do. It is very different since all these animals coming to karma are stray animals straight off the road. There is no history.
Mm-hmm.
And the animal can't talk to you and tell you mere saath ye hua.
Correct.
And the people bringing also don't know what has happened.
Yes.
So for veterinary students and budding vets, like the newly graduated vets, it is a very interesting place to work in. And our place is a lot of fun. Our animals are happy, they recover happy, our team is happy. It's a very nice place to work. And I'm not saying this because I am working there as well. But in general, it's a happy place. And I think veterinary interns have a lot of scope. They should come, they should intern with us. They have a lot to learn. They can have a change of perception as well with how things are, how they should be. In fact, we've had veterinary interns who've come and suppose there's a case, they've also given their suggestions, their inputs. So it's a lot of brainstorming also that happens, and it kind of opens up the mind.
Right. And typically, how is there a stipulated time period for internship?
We're looking for a minimum of at least 3 to 6 months for a veterinary student to intern with us. See, the thing what happens is when a patient comes in, suppose I am a veterinary student, a patient comes in, I'm seeing the patient firsthand. The patient has come, and initially, how was the patient? And then that patient lives with us, is hospitalized with us. And then I am there only for 2 days. I am not being able to, I'm not, there for the entire recovery. So I'm not able to see the whole case through.
I understand. The whole cycle of recovery cannot be seen.
Cycle is not completed, yes. So that's why to help them in a better manner, we say, okay, at least 3 to 6 months, minimum 3 months, intern with us the whole day.
Right.
1 weekly off is fine. Although our hospital is working on all 7 days, our hospital is not closed even for a single day. Even on a Sunday, it's open.
Yeah.
But we request them that come for a minimum of 3 months. In fact, now we've started training for vets also, because we started receiving so many requests from all over India of registered veterinary doctors who have their own clinics, who are established in their field, in their respective cities. We started receiving emails and calls from them that we are following your cases online, we are following you on social media, and can I come and can you train me for so and so thing, whether it is orthopedics, whether it is anesthesia, whether it is surgery, can I come and train there?
Okay.
So now we started a program where we have a separate unit for training vets.
Okay.
So doctors come, they live in Pune, and we have different modules, different time durations, like 15 days, 1 week. So we have different structured modules for veterinary doctors as per their request and requirement as well.
Okay.
And they come, they live in Pune. If they're not from Pune, they live in Pune. They are at the hospital the whole day and they are under training.
Okay.
So we have started that now as well.
Okay. So 3 to 6 months is a good time, as you rightly said. The only challenge could be that if there are young people, let's say, who are in the 10th grade or 11th grade or 12th grade, for them, this 3 month period could be a little challenging. Uh, for them, maybe some kind of 15-day period as an exposure to the field will be useful. I mean, of course, you are the final authority to decide as to how to go about it. But this just a small suggestion: if you would like to help young children who are typically 10th grade is like a time period when somebody is trying to decide which way to go. So if somebody is able to intern with you for 15 days to understand how a veterinary hospital works, how a NGO works, would be a fantastic opportunity for the young people to understand on the job. I think this is just a small suggestion if you can think of later on if you want to adopt.
No, we have had students from different schools just before their 10th board exam. The school has written to us and said that, we have a batch of, say, 5 students who have come to us requesting and they're interested in this, so can we send them? So the first thing we ask them is for parental consent because they're below 18. So we need a written consent from the parents. A is because there are animals involved. B is because they may get bitten, they may get scratched. There can be, it's a hospital, so there is infection around. So we need parental consent. C is that we don't allow such young children to handle the animals because they are patients, they are in pain, they come with broken bones, they are bleeding. So when they're in pain, they're defensive, they can attack. So we don't allow such young children to handle the animals. The batch of students of the age group that you're talking about that we had, they used to come and they were only allowed to observe what is happening. You spend your day, you observe what's happening and take down your notes. And at the end of the day, write down, how did you feel? How was your day? Did you feel sad? Did you feel happy? Did you feel motivated? Did you feel inspired? Um, whatever you went through the whole day, what was your favorite thing that happened? What's the best? What's the highlight of your day? What made you really sad? What made you upset? What made you angry? So these things we have done in the past, but again, like I said, this was pre-COVID.
Right.
Now children are just about getting vaccinated. The cases are increasing in children, so we are being careful about allowing children into the hospital at this point.
Okay.
Because we don't want to be the reason why they might catch COVID or something like that. So as of now, we're just being careful about interacting with children unless they are vaccinated and we have parental written consent. But yes, like you mentioned, we have had this program in the past and it has worked. But we also need the children to be patient because in today's time, it's the Gen Z.
I know.
So they're not very patient, observant of things. They want everything fast.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw this, now why can't I do that? Why can't I touch this? That patience and tolerance is not there. There's a lot of impatience. So when we have children, like young adults, I wouldn't even call them children. When we have young adults who come in, we tell them, you're going to be here for 15 days and just observe. So we've had this in the past. It has worked. But again, it is challenging to deal with the Gen Z now.
Which I can completely understand. I think what has also happened is because of the COVID, a lot of children have got adapted to the screen time, and and that has led to more getting glued to the screen more often. So that's a challenge. I think we have to. I mean, I've got 2 young children at home as well. I mean, they're young adults, I would say, 15, 16-year-old kids. So we have to how to use the technology and not be part of the technology. So that's a challenge I think all parents have to go through, I guess, for the next 1 or 2 years.
Yes.
And hopefully the COVID will stabilize, and even if the new waves of COVID comes, probably the medical field is now advanced quite a bit. I think they will be able to bring more adaptive vaccinations much faster. So hopefully we'll not have 2 years of complete lockdown, which unfortunately created a lot of havoc. So Priya, what is the future plan for Karma?
Future plan is to target rural Maharashtra.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of NGOs in Pune who are doing very good work, and I don't think I have it in mind to start another unit of Karma in any other city as of now. I would like to touch rural Maharashtra, the villages. The villagers love their animals. They love them. They take care of them like their own child. But medical facilities are not there like they should be in rural India. So the immediate plan, if we do get a funding and if we have someone who is able to support the work that we do, I would definitely want to help the villages in Maharashtra to touch and expand in rural Maharashtra, nowhere else as of now.
Okay, so currently it is just a blueprint on the mind right now. I think you
Yes.
still have to get the funding which is required, and
We have
probably
a plan. We have a plan ready. We have everything ready. A project report and everything is ready.
okay.
And Pune is my home. So Karma and Pune is a pilot project. But going ahead, it's going to be the villages. We've had villagers coming to us from different talukas that are located close to Pune as well. The next thing, now my next calling is rural India, rural
Fantastic.
Maharashtra.
Yeah, good. I think once you establish yourself in the rural Maharashtra, and maybe somebody who is going to watch this or listen to our podcast will probably approach you and would like to collaborate with you and expand the Karma Foundation elsewhere. Who knows? The opportunities or options are many, I would say. So we are almost done with our conversation. I would like you to talk to the potential funding agencies or the potential donors who might be listening to this podcast or listening to us or watching us on this YouTube channel. Maybe you would like to say something about your organization, and would you like to say few words about how you're going to utilize their money if they are able to kind enough to support you with their funding?
So I would just like to request everyone to go through our pages on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, on Twitter, and support us with the work we're doing, because we are trying really, really hard to make that huge difference in the lives of these animals. One more thing we're working on is reducing the human-animal conflict that is constantly there in society, with sterilization, with education, with our outreach programs. We are doing everything that we can, and we really and desperately need your support to be able to do what we are doing. And you can be the one to help us touch rural Maharashtra. I don't think anyone has done that yet. The medical units in the villages, there is no private entity that has entered rural Maharashtra as far as I know. And if we have your support, we'll be able to do that. And we'll be able to make the lives of the villagers, the animals in the villages better.
Yeah, absolutely. I sincerely wish that this conversation reaches out to the potential donors who will connect with you and give all the generous support for a wonderful cause. I think this is something which is absolutely necessary. One last thing which I wanted to ask you. You mentioned about the human-animal conflict, and I see more and more monkeys. I mean, you go anywhere in India, you find the monkeys are actually migrating from the jungles into the towns and cities, and in some places they are like a big menace. I know as an NGO, probably they are not easily accessible as an animal to really handle. But any thoughts of yours?
I think I would like to say that instead of, what you said with them invading into the cities, I think we are invading into their space, and that's how they're here.
I agree.
Also, it is not advised to feed wildlife. You see a monkey, you don't feed it. That monkey is not going to leave. And we have to let the wild be wild. Never, ever, ever feed wildlife. If you're going to feed them, they are not going to go. You can't feed them, invite them, and then ask them to get out. You're not to feed wildlife. That's a thumb rule.
Okay.
So just let them be wild. Let them be. They will live on their own and they will find their own.
Yeah, basically they are looking for food, and wherever they are
Yes.
getting it easily, they are being they are
Yes.
just going there.
If we are reinforcing it and we are feeding it, we can't complain about it.
Okay.
We shouldn't complain about it if we are inviting them, right, by feeding them.
Okay.
So
Nice
then,
one. Okay, great, Priya. I think it was fantastic talking to you and
Yes.
learning about how NGO operates, how a veterinary hospital operates, and how you have gone through your journey in terms of transforming yourself from a teaching professional to leading a NGO from the front, from the scratch to whatever level you have brought it to now, and looking at future growth. So I really wish you and Karma Foundation a lot of success.
thank you.
And I sincerely wish that Karma Foundation can, over a period of time, also opens up in other parts of India as well, so that the stray animals are taken care, and the due care is given to those animals. And through this conversation, I sincerely wish that young people who have interest or inclination for veterinary as a subject, I think this is very, very interesting. And if you have that empathy, the feeling, the willingness to really work for the pets and animals, so please do connect and check out all the social media sites of Karma Foundation. And if you're in Pune, probably it's very easy for you to intern as well for a few days. Get in touch with them and find out how you can do that. Priya, thank you so much to invest your time with us, and I sincerely wish great success for Karma Foundation and yours.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
having
much.
me. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. We sincerely wish you could take something from our conversation today and be able to apply it to your life in a positive way. We value your feedback. This can help us improve our future episodes. So share your thoughts to serve you better. If you want us to focus on a topic which you think is of importance, let us know. We will share our expertise in future episodes. So, see you soon with a new topic and help you in your career journey.